Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to my wonderful 122 subscribers. Um, I think my 122 subscriber may be my mom. I sent her a link to a video and asked her to subscribe. So if this is Jane Cochran, shout out to you for joining the Krakens Lair Comics. Thank you so much for joining me on this comic book journey of discovery and wonder. Um, I've got a bit on my mind. Um, Chris from the We Love Comics channel is doing a live auction tomorrow, the Friday, I think it's 21st, at 3. And he did a preview of books that he is offering at auction. And they're major books. The Amazing Spider-Man number 6, first appearance of the Lizard, preemptively sold. And he sort of does this like a pre-auction, like if you reach out and it's a fair offer, that stuff is off the table. He offers, if it's over $500, I think I'm correct on this, a 4-month payment plan. If it gets over like 1,000, I mean, he'll do a 6-month payment plan if you put down a fair down payment of intention that, like, I'm gonna get this book. He charges no taxes. He sends the stuff bomb proof. I have attested many times on my videos and live unboxings of books I've purchased from Chris, that you can buy and bid with complete confidence from this guy. However, these are not $50 books. These are not $100 books, $200 books. I mean, he's like Hulk 180, Hulk 181, ASM 6, which is sold, ASM 3, giant size X-Men 1. Did I say Hulk 3? ASM 129. I mean, these are key grail issues, and I think the deals he's offering, it's like this is a no-brainer. Like, why would you not buy this book? And I have bought many books from him because I felt the same thing. I'm like, why would you not? Now, I also realize there's economic hurdles. It doesn't matter how great the deal is. I referenced this once before. If somebody like offered me Action Comics number 1 that's worth $1 million and wanted 100,000, like, that's great. I mean, but like, I can't like cobble together $100,000 beyond like selling my house. So even though it's a great deal, it's not obtainable. And I really want his auction to go well. And so I was thinking about selling, like the concept of selling books. If that's ever on your radar. I was having a dialogue with my good buddy Chance, Chance acting demo slash, nostalgic pod blast, and it seems like his intention is to never sell a book. I he doesn't like grading, and that's okay. It's his collection. He can do what he wants um, with all the books in his collection. I am divergent a little bit because we're approaching it at different ends of the spectrum. Um, I, for me, if I can buy a book for $100 and sell it for 1,000, and I think about how many hours I have to work to make that $900, that's a win for me. I recognize that, like, to me personally, it's not he who dies with the most comic books wins. Um, my wife doesn't know much about comic books. My daughter doesn't know much about comic books. And I would really like to sort of, I'm turning 55 in October. I would like to sort of start paring down the collection. Um, Hopefully to sort of fund bigger books, you know, uh, you know, uh, Tales of Suspense 39, you know, Journey into Mystery 83, a Hulk 1, an FF 1, Spider-Man 1. I think at this point, like, Amazing Fantasy 15, probably, not going to happen. But I would like to be able to take the books I have and make money to get super key issues. So that my collection is like, whatever, 40, 50, 60 graded comics. Not, 5,000 comics that are like random and like, low, I get like $20 for you or $10 for you or $8 for you. And even if I bought them with like cover price, like that's a lot of work. I'd like just like sort of like at some point sell the lot. So Chris, he's doing this auction, and I bought multiple comics from him from his auctions, and the deals he's offering are deals. I mean, they're fair, but like you start to get to like where I mean, even if it's a steal, if the book is worth $5,000 and you're offering it for $4,000, that's a steal. But in today's economy, like people having like $4,000, like that starts to become difficult. Excuse me. Even if it's like worth it, even if it's like totally worth it. And you start to get to a big boy table of who is going to buy these books from me for a fair price. Because I mean, I guess you can like roll the dice on eBay and set a buy it now price, and it could like sit there for months and months and maybe years. Or you reach out to like dealers and sellers, but then there's like this fear, like, oh, I'm gonna get taken advantage of, But like, I mean, they're gonna make a profit if you go through it like an auction house, like Heritage Auctions. You don't think they're making money? The guy selling Action Comics #1 for $2.5 million. You don't think Heritage Auction is taking a chunk? Of course they are. Hopefully the books that you buy and what you buy them for, there's enough wiggle room, you know. I reference it again. I was at J&J Flea Market, and Captain America 117. It was $6, and actually like 25% off. Do the math on that. I spent the $50 to have it graded. The money I made on that, I scored. My Silver Surfer #1. I think it's a 4 or 5. I bought it for $90. You know. So just say it's worth 400, right? Even if I sold it for 350 or 300, I made money. And if it's like multiple books in my collection, similar story, where I spent this on it, you know, it like, you know, I guess I could spend all day, you know, taking pictures of books and selling them on eBay or whatever, and then you go to like sellers that don't pay, or the vagaries of the mail system. But I think if you're like a major collection, there's a, you know, reach out to somebody who's got the pockets to like just like buy a lot of them. Now, once again, my good buddy Chance, he's like, I don't want to sell books, and that's okay. He doesn't understand why I would consider selling books. And I was like, I want to pare down the collection so it's not so much that my wife and my daughter can't navigate, to where it's like graded books that they know the resources, like, and they can look up like what it's worth. And you know, I'd like to sort of like take at one point my graded books and go up the food chain, you know, to get maybe a Spider-Man #1, maybe get an FF #1, you know, a Giant Size X-Men #1 or whatever. So it was like, you know, here's 40, 50 books, but they're all money. And I have some money books. I have an incoming call. We're just gonna like, nope, I'm doing a comic video. So, I mean, there is no wrong way to dispense with your collection. If you want to make a Viking funeral pyre and get burned on top of all of your comic books, that is your decision to make. You are allowed to do that. If you never want to sell a comic book, you are allowed to do that. If you want to sell all of your comic books, you are allowed to do that. It's not me or my place to tell you or you or you what you should do with your comic collection. However, some of us consider that. I'm going to share some comic books because I'm 14 minutes in. I probably lost a lot of people. So, I'm going to go. You never know how comic books are going to find their way into your collection. Frog in my throat. On Father's Day, my wife and I went to Stone Mountain in Georgia, and nearby there's a comic book shop. I'm gonna give him a shout out, Galactic Quest in Lawrenceville. Phone number 770-339-3001. I've bought books from them before. And I walk in and they got a Hulk 181. They got ASM 14. Lots of like, Silver Age goodness and stuff. And I'm just like looking. And my wife is like, pick out a couple of books. And so I did. And I will show them to you now. And Chris, this is in part why I might not be able to bid on the excellent prices of your auction, because we dropped $1,000, and I gotta, stagger that stuff out. I can't just like, here's $1,000, here's $2,000, here's $3,000. And for people that can do it, I applaud you. Perhaps I've, made bad choices, that I don't have that level of disposable income to be like, yeah, $5,000, no problem. Most of us have hurdles in our lives. Our dog Lily has got some torn knee ligament. You say knee, yeah, ligament, and it's like $3,000. The upstairs bathroom sink was leaking, so caused damage to the downstairs bathroom ceiling that we had to cut a hole in, and we got to get a plumber. My truck is, leaking radiator fluid. We all have hurdles, man. Most of us. I mean, beyond like, the price of gas or the price of groceries and blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's hurdles, man. And I would love just like, every penny I make, I could buy comics. But that's not the reality. That's not for me. And if it's for you, you probably don't understand what I'm talking about. You're like, oh, I made $10,000 last month. What do you mean? For people out of work, for people that work 40 hours a week, you were on a different side of the table, and that's okay. But these are good books, and I'm going to show them. Wow. 18 minutes in, I probably lost everyone. But, wow. So, me and my wife, we walk into this place, and I'm looking, and there's like really key comics. And so I pick out 3. And I guess the owner, they wrote it down. This is backwards, but I guess like a German guy. So it's like Kylie, Kyle, Putkamner, and the total was like for the 3 books was like $11.25. And I was like, hey, Chris asked for deals. I was like, hey man, is there anything you could do? It's like, this is over like $1,000. Like, is there something you can do? And immediately it was like, you could tell it was like the company line. She's like, nope, we can't do nothing. We don't set the prices. And I was like, it's over $1,000. Can you reach out to the guy who maybe can? And he was at a Heroes Con in South Carolina. And I was like, look, if he doesn't answer the phone, that's cool. I'm not going to walk away from this, but like, can you try? And she's like, yes, I will. And like, gets him on the phone. And she's like, I wouldn't even bother calling you but this is like over $1,000, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, and so from the 11/24, he agreed to $1,000. So, all right, which is funny. Because it basically paid for the taxes. Not just the Georgia state tax, but I guess the county they're in, like Gwinnett or whatever, they've got their own like city tax. So like I'm like, okay. So that was pretty much a wash. I love all three of these books. I'm going to flip the screen, hopefully not mess it up, and show you what I got. Here is Amazing Spider-Man number 16. This was the last issue of Daredevil in his yellow banana suit that I did not have. Well, I'll give her prices after I show all the books. I was like, yes. Yes. Daredevil in his banana suit. And I know people don't like it, but I actually do. It's so retro to me. I mean, you know, what's going on here with like Spider-Man's legs and his foot, you know, all right. Ringmaster. But I'm like, man, I've wanted this book for a long time. Sold this book, and I'm so glad to have it back. 5.0 Marvel Superheroes Presents number 20, Dr. Doom. I love how it looks like he's smiling. He's like, I'm Doom. I'm so happy to be Doom. You should love me because I'm Doom. Like, I'm so glad to get this back. I really lamented selling this in part because, Fantastic Four, looming MCU, Doctor Doom. I was like, man, this is going to get stupid. And, mine was probably a little bit higher grade. But I'll take that 5.0. Oh, look, the camera's like folding over. I'll take it. Doom. Doom. Now here's the big one. Iron Man number 1. I believe a Gene Colan cover. I sold my 7.0 of this to build a deck. I will take the 6.5. This is such a cool cover, man. I really love this. I really love this. So I'm just going to leave it here. So, like I said, I got all 3 books for $1,000. With the taxes, I want to say it was like 1,124. Shout out to Galactic Quest in Lawrenceville. The 2 salespeople were really cool, man. I think the girl was a little bit nervous, where I was like, yeah, I want this book, I want this book, I want this book, and it was over $1,000. And I was like, hey man, can you reach out to the owner? I think she was a little bit nervous. about it. But I was like, no, like I'm not a punk, I'm laying out cash. Yeah. And shout out to my lovely and amazing wife for allowing me to pursue my comic book collecting hobby, because now she gets it to where, the money I'm spending on comic books, it literally is an investment. And if you sell at the right time, it's like there is money to be made. And, I guess, we could be going out to, like, eat at Red Lobster or, Longhorn Steaks or, whatever. Not that those are great restaurants. It's just, like, what came to mind. And, one day, I'm going to liquidate my collection down. I'm going to take the money and do other things with that. I will keep my key issues that I know are going to appreciate and leave those behind. But I don't want that to be 1,000 comic books, 2,000 comic books, key issues. And I want to take the money and, do something different with it, man. I just do. If you don't, you don't have to. I do. I know this has been a lot. Wow, I'm almost like 30 minutes, man. I don't usually go this long in my videos. So, think about what your end game is. I mean, if you don't, that's fine. I mean, I just I don't want my comic books to end up in a landfill. I don't want like Tony the Trash Man to it's gone. I don't want vultures to come in and pick apart my collection and take advantage of my daughter and my wife to make profit for themselves. To go, oh yeah, hey girl, yeah, I'll give you this. They're like, no, I am not going to allow that to happen. And I'm almost 55. I have to, how long am I going to collect comics, or to where they're going to appreciate, I still got time, but I don't want to be 85 and yes, I'm buying this comic book for, $6,000 and it's going to appreciate, it's I'm going to be around to see it. I want to get comic books that are appreciating now and will continue to. That's sort of where my head's at. And seeing, Chris struggle selling books on his auction, and they're all key books, and where you start getting into multiple thousands of dollars, and it's the avenue to sell those books to make a profit. Whether you're paying the auction house a premium, whether you're selling the entirety of your collection, they're going to make money. I mean, it's more power to you. You want to sell them one at a time on eBay? All right, awesome. Do it. Ship them out one at a time. Your whatever, 10,000 comic books. Like, great, do it, man. Like, I don't have the time, and I have not the interest, and nope, not me. So I know this has been, all over the place. So I will leave it here. Enjoy comic books. Enjoy comic book collecting. I will see you guys pretty soon because I've got some other books to unbox. Have a great night.